are joined by Dr. Jerome Corsi. And Dr. Corsi was one of the first birthers to go and do the research, to go to Kenya and other areas, and to research the providence of the president. Because if he isn't who he says he is, he can be blackmailed by foreign governments. And he worked with the State Department in a high security position. We'll just leave it at that. He writes for WorldNet Daily and many other big publications. He has a PhD from Harvard University in political science. And, of course, he swift-boated John Kerry with that accurate information and more. And, of course, 1 week before his book was going to come out, Where is the Birth Certificate?, Obama came out with the long form that he said didn't exist. And all of his surrogates did. Also, we have Bush, we now learn, this is in his book, sent off. Well, here I am giving you background again. The point is, the White House discovered that they'd cut out the records in Kenya. And Kenya said, yeah, it looks like criminal activity. You don't cut out records that weren't there. Now, for 16 years, 9 months, the literary agent that Obama still uses, his agent, put out his bio hundreds of times in publications that he was born in Kenya, raised in Indonesia, and Hawaii. And we have all that, exactly as Dr. Corsi has said. And now, again, the White House responded to his book. They even put out a fake report that his book had been recalled. There's a lawsuit over that against Esquire. You don't engage in dirty tricks if there isn't something you're hiding. So folks, but still, his publicist, and for 16 years saying this, there is no way either Obama lied and said he was from Kenya because that was trendy, or he was born in Kenya. And then you look at all the other evidence, the pendulum swings towards the weights of justice go to the side. He was born in Kenya. And again, you're like, so what if he's born in Kenya? So what if Schwarzenegger was born in Austria? Folks, he can be blackmailed with that info. Dr. Corsi, you have gone through hell on earth. Sheriff Opayo, you're a member of his posse. You gave him your research. He hired top forensic experts to confirm what you'd said. He's been raided by the feds. You could be Breitbart at any time. I know you don't need to be told that. Do you want to say you're not going to commit suicide, sir?
I'm not going to commit suicide. No way. I plan to live to a ripe old age and to die in my bed surrounded by my family.
Okay, well, you're here with us. What does this mean to have 16 years, 9 months in hundreds of publications put out by his publicist that he was born in Kenya?
Well, it's obvious, Alex, that the information came from Barack Obama himself. I mean, I'm an author. I've published lots of books. I've got 2 books coming out this year. They're already being edited. The publicist has sent me the author's biography statement. I've got to fill it in. They base the publicity campaign. They put the listings in their brochures.
I've done that for documentary films I distributed. You fill it out.
Yes, and I mean, go take a look at the books I've got right now on ebooks. I've got one on the Great Oil Conspiracy and one on the ineligibility of Obama's, the Sheriff Arpaio's investigation. And in both of those, you'll see my biography. My biography says, born in East Cleveland, Ohio, and very easily verifiable. That information came from me. Barack Obama had to tell his publicist where he was born. I hadn't made that point. You've got 3 or 4 New York Times bestsellers, including a #1. And so obviously as an author, you can explain that. But that's right. I've done promotions for videos, and you fill it out and they rewrite it. I've had, Alex, 6 New York Times bestsellers since 2004. And I still today fill out the author's biographical statements for the publicity department of the publisher.
In case you want to update it.
I've got a book coming out with the on the ACLU. It's going to be called The Bad Samaritan. It's going to be published this fall by Thomas Nelson. Thomas Nelson's publicist contacted me. They have a biographical form every author fills out. And on that, I forgot about that. Another stunning point. But what about it being over 16 years? Well, again, look, this biographical statement then forms the basis of a campaign to promote the book. The publisher puts that in a catalog. Every time an interview is given, when the publicist sets up an interview in a new book, that biographical statement goes along with the fact sheets of the book to the interviewer. The interviewer doesn't know me. I'm on hundreds radio stations.
Exactly. You know, this was brought up to him over and over again.
Of course. And every interview had to be predicated on born in Kenya, because that's the information Barack Obama provided. And, Alex, I've been saying this. If you read my Where's the Birth Certificate, I made the point Obama had been saying he was born in Kenya forever, back to when he was a kid, until 2007, when he decided to run for president. And that's when he began changing all of this biographical information. Remember, Obama said he was born in 2 different hospitals. He was supposed to be born in Queens, and then when Queens wouldn't validate it, they changed it to Kapiolani Hospital. What the point is, Obama's either, like you said, he either lied when he gave the information to his publicist and used it for all these years, including for Dreams from My Father, the autobiography. That Born in Kenya biography was used when his autobiography was publicized starting in 1995.
It's unbelievable. I mean, 16 years, saying you're born in Kenya in a media promotion. This is, I mean, and then within hours, they respond and say this must be the source when it's never been the source. We just discovered this.
Precisely, and the fact that a publicist would say that she made a mistake for 16 years is absolutely pathetic. And what's even more pathetic is that the mainstream media would buy that.
Because you give your info to the publicist.
Every time. I'm extremely well known as an author, okay? I've gotten 6 bestsellers since 2004. 2 #1. Both the Unfit for Command, which I co-authored with John O'Neill on John Kerry, the Swift Boat book, and in 2008, The Abomination. So publishers could easily find out who I am, but I fill out the biographical statement.
I totally forgot. This is big news. I mean, everybody in the media knows how the media works. They've got to know now this confirms he's born in Kenya.
Precisely, and it confirms that that's the story Obama was telling, because it would never have been in there, never in his biographical statement, unless Obama submitted that information, including the raised in Indonesia. This is how Obama was packaging himself. Now, the point is exactly what you said, Alex. Obama was lying then for all the years until he ran for president, or he's lying now. Either way, he's fictionalizing his life story.
But the evidence all leans towards Kenya. I want to come back and look at that evidence, kind of recap for folks the history, the smoking guns, but then more importantly, what does it mean for blackmail to have the so-called commander-in-chief saying he serves the UN openly? No wonder he's so traitorous. This guy is totally compromised. Dr. Jerome Corsi, straight ahead.
Have you been to InfoWarsShop.com lately? Express your inner patriot with these brand new InfoWars t-shirts. Say it loud with the InfoWars Bullhorn shirt, or educate the sheeple with the Bill of Rights shirt. Grope the public's mind with the TSA shirt. And with this shirt, you can let the dark side know of the Rebel Alliance's power. All available at InfoWarsShop.com.
You know, my friends, I'm sitting back looking at the evidence, and I'm sad.
I was a highwayman.
As much as I don't like Barack Obama's policies, the fact that he really is not who he says he is and has all these fake names like Barry Soetoro and gave up his citizenship to be an Indonesian, which you have to do, it shows the power structure is just so out of control. And it shows how they just train us to accept anything, like Obama saying, I can launch wars without approval of the Congress because I have the UN. That is so illegal. But it's not just the president doing it. He says because a foreign power says so. Dr. Corsi, I want to get back into that subject with you in the time we have left here in the short 10-minute segment. But again, recap for folks, the smoking guns of his Kenya providence and what that signifies, why that's important.
Well, I mean, first of all, we got the grandmother who said that Obama was born in Kenya. And it's not just one radio interview with her or television interview or whatever with a couple of ministers. I sent some of my operatives, Kenyans, who know Grandma Sarah personally and have for years. They were working for me. And she told the story again, that the baby, Barack Obama, the president, was born in Kenya. Now, I've come to the conclusion, and I've got an ebook out on Saul Alinsky, the evil genius behind Obama. Take a look at it. Because I think the entire life story of Obama is a fiction. And it was a fiction created largely as an intelligence operation. We don't know who this guy really is. The one thing I'm certain of, Alex, is that the one candidate who is not the father is the African, Obama Sr., Barack Obama Sr., the guy who came from Kenya in 1959 and went to the University of Hawaii. He is absolutely no way the father.
And you said that before the State Department documents came out where they said he wasn't the dad and threw him out of the country.
Well, in fact, the Immigration Naturalization Service file that we now have says that when the baby was born, that the Immigration Naturalization Service was going to contest that Ann Dunham was a U.S. citizen wife or that little Barack Obama was a U.S. citizen child.
But he looks nothing like the dad. He looks like Caribbean, black, native Spanish mix.
Well, I recommend everybody take a look at Joel Gilbert's new DVD, which is called The Real Barack Obama. I mean, I've got one right here. You can see it. This is the real Barack Obama's father. The real, it says, dreams from my real father.
Well, that looks just like him. I want to get him on.
And Frank Marshall Davis is the father. This is the argument. Frank Marshall Davis, the black poet and communist, who was in Hawaii, is Joel Gilbert's #1 choice for the real father. And I think we've got to begin the search for who the real father is. I recommend Joel Gilbert's film to everybody.
But the dad looks nothing like him.
The dad, take a look right here. You've got the father there, the African, looks nothing like Barack Obama, the president. Nothing. The Luo people are very dark. They have round heads, sloped foreheads. They're not this tall. You have Frank Marshall Davis, and the evidence in the film is startling, even down to the age marks on Frank Marshall Davis's face and Barack Obama's face. This is candidate #1, and what I'm telling you, Alex, is we don't know who Barack Obama is. It's a fiction. This is a Saul Alinsky created, perhaps intelligence operation, life story that is fictionalized from the get-go.
Well, we know the family is CIA and stuff, but then you've got all these foreign connections. The truth is, he is literally the Manchurian candidate.
Yes, and as you say, the possibility for blackmail, the possibility here for, the people who do know the reality of the Obama story, why he was engineered to be president, the globalists and the forces behind Obama. When this is revealed, it's going to shock the American people. It's not just a Manchurian candidate. It's somebody who was picked like they were royalty from birth and groomed to be president, trained as a communist. All these advantages through life. Getting into Occidental, well, Punahu, he was a drug addict. No grades at Occidental, again, doing drugs. Gets into Columbia. How? With the influence of Percy Sutton and Al Mansour.
Well, that's why the founders, because of all the court intrigue, trying to get people into the court from other countries in Europe, that's why we have a law that you've got to be natural born. There's reasons for all this.
Reasons. And when I wrote in Where's the Birth Certificate, what I wrote is that every aspect I investigate of the official, the nativity story and the life story of Obama concocted in this fictionalized dream.
Look how they sold him. They even said he was Jesus. Remember all that?
Absolutely. And now we find out that the girlfriend is a composite character. Read fiction.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. You said that, and now they admit the book it has composites. Dreams of my father. Oh, it's a composite. They admit it's a fiction.
This woman, Ann Dunham, whether she was the mother or the caretaker, Ann Dunham, 3 weeks after the baby was born, was in Seattle attending night courses at the University of Washington. I've got the transcript. I've got the catalog. The university confirmed she had to attend those classes. A 3-week-old baby. It's not credible, and it's a lie, because Dreams from My Father said the family...
I was about to say, he looks nothing like that woman.
Exactly. He looks... I mean, first of all, you got to take a look at Joel Gilbert's film. But arguing this, Frank Marshall...
No, he was already in contact with us. We're going to get him on. I absolutely...
And secondly, you got to go to my Where's the Birth Certificate? Go to the ebook, Saul Alinsky, the evil genius behind Obama. You'll see how all of this has been planned.
Oh, I got to ask you this. It's now been confirmed 1 month before Breitbart's death, he meets with one of the top weathermen. What do you make of that meeting?
He had dinner at Bill Ayer's house, which he should never have done. I've written already several articles. There's more to come, where I'm suspicious of Breitbart's death being a murder. We've already found...
Oh, you already alluded to that. You said they got stuff that'll kill you a few months later.
Exactly. And also, we interviewed the one witness, this guy Lassiter, who was on the scene walking his dog. So the face was bright red with a white band around the forehead. That's not the exact symptoms of a heart attack. It's not a sudden heart attack. We've got much more coming on this. I'm working on a lot of leads on Breitbart's death because I remain suspicious that it was a murder. And the family doesn't want it investigated, and the people who took over Breitbart News, including Bannon and Solo, don't want it investigated. They've pounded me. Because
I'm not trying to be mean to them, but when this new stuff came out, which we know Breitbart was working on, they said, we're sorry, we don't believe this. They're acting not like operatives, but like they're scared.
And I'm an investigative reporter. Breitbart and I talked at CPAC.
But let me ask you, are they acting scared or like operatives?
Well, they're acting like they don't want an investigation, and I can't understand why we don't want the truth here.
Well, when you preface 16 years of the publicist saying he's born in Kenya like, oh, this is a conspiracy theory, something's going on, and I'm glad you brought that up.
And look, and if you don't want something investigated, why? I want to investigate it. I want the truth here. I don't want to just cover it up. Let's get down to the facts. It's the same thing with Barack Obama. I'm convinced that Barack Obama is rapidly becoming damaged goods.
Stay there. You know what? I know you've got to go. You're in a hotel about to speak, but can you do 10 more minutes?
Yes, I'll do 10 more minutes.
Okay, fantastic. Because I want to come back and I want to get into the fact that he is damaged goods and what are they planning? What are some of the tricks you think they may have up their sleeve? Our guest is Dr. Jerome Corsi. He's author of Where's the Birth Certificate? I'm Alex Jones of Infowars.com. It was Hillary Clinton, when she was running against Obama, that first used the born in Kenya stuff. Because we know the Clintons have all those FBI files they kept after they left office. But when she couldn't win, they figured out, hey, we'll just have a third term under Obama. And they met there at the Bilderberg group meeting that I covered. I'm about to cover it coming up in 2 weeks again at the exact same hotel in Virginia. They're in Chantilly. In closing, Doc, what does it signify that he's becoming more and more damaged goods? Why do you say that? What does that mean? Because obviously even the lamestream media has to know now this guy is a fraud.
Well, first of all, Alex, the Sheriff Arpaio's investigation going on, a law enforcement investigation, is much more serious than most people realize. Sheriff Arpaio's already announced on March 1st there's reasonable probable cause to believe the birth certificate and Obama's draft registration card, selective service registration card, are forgeries. Now, that means Sheriff Arpaio is saying Obama is in the White House with basically identity theft documents. This is going to be watchwnd.com, where I'm a senior staff reporter. This coming week, there's going to be some shocking revelations. You're going to be surprised at what's coming down. This is a major investigation.
Oh, I hope Arpaio doesn't have a heart attack or you, because Breitbart said that next morning the big bombshell was coming out and he died. And then 3 weeks later, they released some milk toast.
Well, I've been very careful. So the head of the posse has got all the information I've developed. I've turned it over. I'm not deputized. I'm not a member of the posse, but I've agreed to turn over my material and to work in conjunction with the posse. So if something happens to me, the next day everything I've got is going to be released and dumped out, and it's going to be public anyway. By the way, I know body language. All those sheriffs people and forensic experts, they look completely freaked out, and they should be. Because this is going to develop into a major ballot challenge to Obama. It's already shaping up in Arizona. The Secretary of State is on the record of saying he wants certification from Hawaii that this long-form birth certificate, a forgery, is an authentic document. Hawaii will not certify that document because now they know there's a law enforcement investigation going on. The Hawaii officials don't want to go to jail committing felonies to support this fraudulent identity theft president.
And you've talked to sources inside the office beforehand that it wasn't there, just as the governor had said, and then magically appeared like an Easter egg.
Exactly. And if there was an original, why wasn't it shown to the American public way back in 2008? Why hide it? We still have not seen the original paper and ink documents, if they exist at all, or the microfilm, if it exists at all.
Why would they put out something with fake typewriter print that's a computer font and all those layers? Why is it so shoddy?
These guys are not the greatest geniuses in the world. It's been a cover-up, and they're running thin. They're running in the last hours of being able to hide Obama's true identity.
Here's my last question.
We don't know who the father is. We don't know who Obama is. And by the way, when the globalists decide to dump Obama in favor of Romney, which I think is coming down, I don't think Hillary's going to step in and be the candidate. I think she's too smart. She'll wait and pick up the pieces for 2016.
What do you make of Romney? Because he's not bringing up any of the real issues against Obama.
I believe Hillary and Bill have already talked about it. It's been discussed, stepping in and replacing Obama, because Obama's damaged goods. He's not going to be able to survive the revelations coming out politically. And Romney, I think, is just going to coast in. Romney is, it's the same as 2004. George W. Bush renounced the Swift Boat campaign that conducted together with John O'Neill and Admiral Hoffman. But I'm convinced it was the Swift Boat campaign that made a major impact in waking the American public's eyes up to who really is John Kerry. The same is happening right now. Programs like yours, Alex, Sheriff Arpaio's investigation, WND's consistent reporting on the issue is telling the American people, you got an imposter, a usurper, guy born in Kenya who's lied to you his entire life about who he is in the White House. It's shocking. It's the biggest cover-up in American history.
Undoubtedly, and we've even seen the last year the Washington Post saying top Democrats want Obama to step down, but they're going ahead with him as the presumptive candidate right now.
They're going to go ahead until they have a precipitating event that permits them to dump Obama. And when they get that precipitating event, they're going to be all set and ready. The plans
Let me ask you this. So you're saying you don't think Romney's a fall guy?
No. Romney's going to win. That's my prediction. Romney's going to win. But how many Democrats currently in the House and Senate or running for House and Senate or running for governor or the state legislature want to go down with Obama? Because this shaping up in 2012 will make 2010 look like a picnic for the Democratic Party. What's shaping up here is an electoral disaster behind a candidate that won't even tell you who he is. Barack Obama, or is it Barry Soetoro, the Indonesian, or is it the Kenyan? Who's the dad? It's not the African. Is it Frank Marshall Davis, like Joel Gilbert says, or is it somebody else? 4 years into the presidency, and the White House is still talking about a birth certificate. It won't show the American people.
That's right. And now with this new document, I mean, is that not a final nail in the coffin? I mean, because this has totally convinced people.
It shows the American public that Obama, like I said in Where's the Birth Certificate, when I wrote it, that Obama has always said he was born in Kenya until he decided to run for president.
No, you wrote that. So here's my final question. Now everybody's ferreting around in his college documents, not the ones they've sealed. Boy, look at that admission of guilt right there.
Right.
But now they're ferreting around in the quasi-public stuff. I predict it's only a matter of time until even more comes out.
Right. Well, look, I want to see the passport records. I want to see the school records. Was he registered as a foreign student? Did he get foreign student aid? Why was he always rooming with all these Pakistanis? Did he represent himself as an Indonesian, or was he representing himself?
That's what everybody says. He was a foreign student in the U.S.
Foreign student. This is Obama's told this story his whole life. Foreign student, born in Kenya, raised in Indonesia. This is what he's told over and over again. We've got dozens of witnesses ready to go on tape saying that this is what Obama has told the American people.
So the question is, either he's some deep cover foundation globalist / CIA operative and was born here, but this was his previous cover, still he's got to go, or he really was born in Kenya, and then the evidence, who knows? This is crazy.
One way or the other, Obama is lying. He's lying about who his father was. He's lying about every aspect of his life history, and he will not show the American people the documentary evidence.
But he could start a new big war or false flag and pose as the savior.
The American people get their minds around this. They are going to demand that Obama leave office immediately as an usurper, and they're going to vitiate, erase all of his decisions, his executive orders, Obamacare, because he's illegitimately in office. I've been saying this since 2008. I've written 2 books on it now, The Abomination and Where's the Birth Certificate. My Saul Alinsky book, you got to see it, on an electronic book, Corsi and Amazon.com.
No, all the proofs there. Dr. Corsi, thanks for coming on so quickly after this came out. Thank you so much.
Great pleasure, Alex. Thank you.
All right, there he goes. Folks, I'm telling you, there's no doubt now. His publicist for 16 years said he was born in Kenya and all these publications. I mean, that's it. He either said he was born in Kenya and lied, or he was. Doesn't matter. We're not kooks for bringing this up. We've been proven right. I'm telling you, the president is completely compromised. Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds?